right, here we go. Starting this week off right. Outlaw Radio is in the building. My name is Kevin Barnes. I'm the host of Outlaw Radio, the militant with a microphone and mouthpiece of the movement, aka the Negro Whisperer. How y'all doing this evening, man? Hope you had a great weekend. Hope everything is going well for you, and hopefully you didn't lose anyone since the last time we spoke, which was last Wednesday. This is Outlaw Radio. This is what we do on Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time until whenever we choose to cut the machine off. Like I said, this is, and I say this all the time, this is a foundational Black American platform. I don't know if you're up on the delineation movement, what it means, what it involves, where it comes from, but I think you should take some time to do a little research about it and figure out the real part of it, the legitimate aspects of it, not necessarily the fake, hyped up, false narratives that are being sold on the internet in regards to delineating and identifying yourself as a foundational Black American, simply out of respect for those who came before us, who sacrificed and lost tremendously and were treated so unfairly and so cruelly by this country. So I feel like it's time in 2026 for Black people to self-identify, and from there we move into solidarity. So this is the first phase of it. So tighten up, man. Tighten up. Get up on your good foot, like James Brown said. Welcome to the show. Been a pretty smooth, laid back, pleasant weekend. As far as the weather was concerned, the weather was cool. Wasn't too hot. Wasn't really cold, but it was what I would describe as mild. I was chilling, as they say, but that's what I'm always doing. So tell a friend to tell a friend. Outlaw Radio is in the building. We have a very active chat room. Shout out to my Outlaw family who tend to come and go as they see fit and comment and be a part of the show and contribute to the conversations. But we also have a phone line. It is 262-202-5131. Once again, 262-202-5131. A lot of people choose to become more of a three-dimensional part of make the conversation three-dimensional and get involved on that level. So I welcome that as well. But like I said, how y'all doing, man? I'm sure the fact checker will be along. He's probably stuck at work. But in the meantime and in between time, I'm very happy to be here. It's a distinct pleasure and honor to be able to host this show, to be able to give my people a platform to speak unfiltered and to speak clearly and be able to state their opinions without being ostracized or with a fake ass cancel or something like that. So it's a pleasure for me to bring this to you all. I see you, Brendan Hayes, in the chat room. He says, peace out. Brendan is a major contributor to the People's News Network, which is my sister Facebook group that I created in, I believe, 2014, up to about 1,700 members right now. So loving the People's News Network, tremendous platform for, once again, foundational Black American information, bunch of different platforms, people who have something to say, but I can't have everybody on the show. I can't interview everybody, and I don't know everything, despite what some people may think. I don't know everything, and I'm always happy to, defer to someone who has more information about something than myself. So go to the People's News Network and become a member. Brandon says, did you hear about State Fair? It has been impossible for me not to hear about State Fair. I kind of wanted the building to get a little bit more full before we started to talk about State Fair, because once again, we find ourselves involved in a conversation about our youth and about their lack of direction, so to speak, and their behavior. This is, once again, this is what that topic is. So definitely we're going to talk about that tonight. Ace Cooley, he said, what it do, man? What's up, Ace? He said he's in the building. Ace, how you doing, man? How you doing? I know Ace will be calling in. Y'all will hear his voice. He's one of my Outlaw family members who always calls in and contributes. So is Earl Henning, who is here as well. He's in the chat room. He said, what it do, my brothers and sisters? Fuck Donald Trump and his friend Orlando. Earl getting it cracking early. Calling names, right? Brendan Hayes said a rapper just got killed. What rapper? A rapper in Milwaukee, a national, one of our known rappers who got killed. I haven't heard about that. I've been sitting down here in the studio trying to put my notes together. So if something just popped, I didn't see it. Let me know. Let me know. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Y'all come on in here and let's have this conversation. Be a part of this because it applies to mostly all of us, especially if we have kids. So almost every year for the last, 10, 12, 15 years, we've had issues at State Fair. And so people say, well, it's the State Fair, and it's a staple of Wisconsin, where people come from all over the state to attend. They have livestock, they have a midway with rides and all your classic carnival games and stuff like that. I attended State Fair as a youngster, um, so many different times. My mother made it a point to take us, my brother and myself, to State Fair. It was a trip that in our neighborhood I grew up in, if somebody's family was going to State Fair and their parents were taking them and they had enough room, they took as many people as they could. All the kids in State Fair jumped in the car. But I always went in the daytime. I was only there once when I was young, and we stayed until the evening. But this was early '80s, so there was no. People say, "Damn, early '80s." I am. But there was no violence. But for the last 10, 12 years, we've seen large groups of young black teenagers. I'm assuming they're teenagers, go to State Fair and get into some foolishness, particularly fights, huge fights, running crazy all through the Midway. And I don't know if our youngsters understand that if you have something and you don't respect it or you abuse it, it goes away. So, number one, we don't want a situation to arise where the Midway and the rides and the attractions and the games that so many people take their children to, partake in, are taken away. And I don't think that'll happen, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of revenue generated. Because there are people who actually travel the country and go to carnivals and state fairs and this kind of thing with whatever ride or machine that they have, and that's how they make their living. Um, but what is up with our kids? What? And I know I didn't want to get on here tonight and just throw the babies under the bus, because we know we go through this at Summerfest. We go through this, and anytime we have a carnival, we have all these festivals in the summer in Milwaukee. That is festival time. You have Garfield Days, you have Center Street Days, you have Brady Street Festival. You have all these different events, and a lot of times they are marred by violence, with our young people just getting buck, right? Acting a damn fool. So what's the deal? Why can't our kids go to places and, I don't know, in essence, behave themselves? What is that about? I would like for y'all to tell me, because like I said, I could, my opinion is my opinion. And I believe in tough love. I'm old school. So I start to say, hey, maybe we need to stop letting them in. Maybe we need to start having age requirements after a certain time. But that puts the target squarely on the back of a lot of our kids, because a lot of us are at work or maybe unable to go. And that means, and they already don't have anywhere to go, which I don't want to be an excuse for them. But what's the deal with our youngsters, man? Somebody talk to me. Let me know how you feel about it. What do you think should be done? I want to get into solutions before we just talk about, because on Facebook, this is the news, right? This is Facebook is trumps the local news in terms of being on the spot, on the scene, and it just looks outrageous. And all you see is the black kids. You see these young black kids running amok, just fighting and just terrorizing people, making people who probably came just saying, let me get my. Now, I would say, if you're going to take your kids to State Fair, take them in the daytime, right? Like I used to take my children down there. I've taken them several times, especially when they were younger. I never took them at night, though. And a lot of places you go in Milwaukee at night can be a problem. Let's be honest. The city right now is just not the safest. Let me see. We got a caller here. Okay, make sure you got your device turned down in the background. Brendan Hayes says that it was a Milwaukee rapper, and then Ewok says it's Walk's World, which we know. Caller, I'm gonna ask that you turn down your device. You can't listen to the show in the background while you're on the phone. I'm still getting this echo. All right, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's up, Earl? Make sure you got everything turned down in the background. I can hear you, but if you got anything turned up in the background, it gives me an echo, which I can't. I can't really. It messes me up. I don't hear anything now. You are good to go. What's on your mind, man? Okay. 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 Yeah, I mean, but this is a common reoccurrence in Milwaukee, and I don't feel like it's one of those things where extra attention is given to just the black kids acting a fool. I think the fact of the matter is the majority of the foolishness that's going on is being committed by the young blacks in terms of fighting and that kind of thing. Now I'm knowing there's some drunk white people who went to State Fair this year, probably got arrested, probably got in trouble, probably got kicked out. But I don't know that there was a large groups of white kids fighting each other all over the state. Especially the last night was the worst one. They said that police got punched. That West Dallas police had to get Milwaukee police involved. So solutions, Earl. Give me a solution. What can be done for this? What do we need to do about this? Okay. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. Now I'm being told that the people can't hear you, Earl. So I don't know what's going on. Um. Can y'all hear Earl now? I don't know. They're saying they can't hear you, Earl. I don't know why. Everything should be straight. Can y'all hear? Let me know if y'all can hear those sound effects. Because if y'all can't, then I know that it's with my connectivity to my board. So I want to make sure everybody can hear you. Uh, y'all let me know if y'all can hear Earl. I don't think it's that. You never know with these computers, man. But I hear you,
Yeah,
Earl. Earl. If you couldn't hear what Earl was saying, basically he was saying whoop their ass, and he was saying that we got to
yeah,
get back to the point of parenting, some strict old school parenting. So, and I don't disagree with that, Earl. But I mean, we got to teach. You can whoop ass, but we also have to teach.
yeah. Well, you know, if you losing them, what difference does it make? I'm talking about after you lose them. When you start to lose them, you know they need their ass whooped. Point blank. You
Okay.
know, when you start losing your kid, ain't no sense in beating around the bush. They need their ass whooped.
Okay. But okay,
Because
so
apparently,
but a lot of these kids are 18, 17, 18, 19. You don't really whoop 17, 18, 19-year-old asses. You know, just not practical.
then
So,
they need to be locked up. Lock them up.
okay. Lock them up. And a lot
Yeah,
of them will, like you said, you got assault on a police officer. You have all kinds of crazy stuff, and you're on video doing it. There's footage of it. So yeah, a lot of them are going to face some legal ramifications behind it.
lock them up.
Okay. Okay. I
Because
think
look,
I think it comes
because
down
they think,
to more of an enforcement on the curfew. After a certain time in the evening, perhaps they should not be admitted without a parent who actually shows an ID and says these youngsters are with me. And if those individuals are apprehended in the midst of committing some sort of offense, then that adult should face repercussions. And I hate for it to be like that. I hate for it
yeah,
to
because
be like that.
when has it come to that you gotta secure the secure?
Yeah, I just somehow, some way,
Maybe
we have to figure out a way to make the adults more culpable for some of the things that their children are doing. And once again, I hate to do that because when I was a teenager, we did a lot of stupid stuff too, and I would have hated for some of it to fall back on my parents. But the fact of the
yeah,
matter, if there was a line that we wouldn't cross as well.
because you know, you and I both know if you was taken home after you got in trouble out in the streets, you had consequences. These kids don't have consequences no more, man. They most of them probably smoking weed with their mom and daddy.
Hmm.
You know, they functioning. They probably selling shit to their daddy and their mama. If we don't nip this in the blood, we ain't gonna have nowhere to go. Ain't nobody gonna be feeling safe. You're gonna feel like everybody is getting into the point where they don't care no more. Nobody cares no more. Nobody. You don't care how you act in public.
Hmm.
And it's a shame that you don't care how you act in public. You don't you like you think acting a fool is a good thing to do.
Hmm.
It ain't good to act a fool out in public.
No, well, once again, I think when we start to be solution based, we got to start looking for some alternatives. Because I mean, physical reprimanding and, like, saying whoop their ass. But I think ass whooping's got to start a long time, way before 16, 17. Like, we talking, you can't really get a
Oh
kid.
yeah.
You got to start when the foundation,
Well,
the foundation has to be built in which kids have discipline and they understand, hey, if I go out here and I do any old kind of thing or act any old kind of way, there's going to be consequences and repercussions. And it just seems like either there is none for some youngsters or they just don't give a damn about them. Because I know it's a parent sitting somewhere who identified their own child on there and said, I didn't raise him or her like that. I don't understand why they are out here like that. Let me go to
while they
let me go
wilding out.
let me go to the chat room. Let's see. Ernest said he can hear now. Y'all let me know if y'all can't hear Earl. We gotta make sure my people can be heard on here. Orlando Owen said Earl Henning to be this silly. I think he meant something else. I think he was typing a little fast. Orlando said, family, what it do, Orlando? How you doing? Ace said they have a curfew like that right now. The problem is they get in there early and they'll still be in there after 5 or 7. Well, you got to get your security together to get them out of there. Maybe you got to announce it over the speaker. Hey, if you are under 17, it is now 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. You must leave unless you are accompanied by an adult, and any security or any police officers up there are walking around escorting them out. I think that's what you got to do. Shabaka St. Cour said, agree. Oh, what up, Shabaka from Sin City out in Vegas? How you doing, man? Mama Jenkins in the chat room. Good to have you here,
Well,
Mama Jenkins. She said, "Good evening, my outlaw family. These kids know better. Most
Oh,
of
I
the
told you it was for some reason it wasn't cold in here like it normally be. I wouldn't have that door open.
Mama Jenkins is in the chat room. Let me read her comment. She said, "Good evening, my outlaw family. These kids know better. Most of the time, most of those kids got dropped off out there, and most of their parents knew they were there. I always tell mine, I'm gonna beat they hard head ass. I just believe these kids are not taught at home, or when a child is away from the parents, they do all kinds of crazy stuff. We got somebody. What is that in the background?
That's the breakfast.
We got somebody in the background. I'm getting an echo in the background.
Oh, that's me and my sister was talking.
Oh, okay. Shabaka, oh, what up? He said he's Shabaka's Black Experience Enhances. Hold on. We got to keep the backgrounds quiet because I can't hear. Shabaka said Shabaka's Black Experience Enhances in hiatus. Oh, you got to tell me about it, Shabaka. What's going on with you? And then Orlando puts his correction. And he said, "Correction, Earl too old to be this silly." So what y'all tell me, man? What y'all think, man? These kids, the future. Like Whitney Houston said, "I believe the children are our future." What's going on, man? What can be done? Are we in favor of a Mayfair Mall type of curfew where if you're not of a certain age, then you just can't be there? And if you're not accompanied by a parent, or is there, like, as I know a lot of times if you're going in there, some teenagers saying, "Can you get us in?" And a lot of people say, "Yeah, come on." Because you don't want to be, you don't want to be callous like that. But maybe a lot of us need to say, "No, I can't do it, youngster. I can't do it." Because if you go in here and go to acting a fool, it's my fault. But also, I think, when we start to talk about people dropping their kids off, that's another thing. That's another thing. Dropping kids off and just leaving them, you know, it's my daughter when she's here, she likes to go to a lot of festivities in the summer, and I've dropped her off at Summerfest. I've dropped her off at State Fair, her and a friend perhaps, but she's also not on that. That's not her mode, just not how she moves. So I'm not worried about it. But if my son wanted me to take him and 5 or 6 of his friends, I'd be very cautious because they're young men, and I know how we get. I know how young men get. But once again, 262-202-5131. Let's talk about this issue. These are our young people, because State Fair is the only place they acting a fool, right? It's not the only place that they act a fool. So we want to talk about what the solutions are. I know we can all say the kids out of control and they don't this and they don't that, and then the parents is a bit, but let's talk about solutions. Let's talk about what's really going on. Like what can be done.
Cal, tell me, give me a solution you think that's gonna really make a difference with these kids, man.
Well, once again, I think that this kind of thing starts early. I think your
right,
child,
of course.
your child, the foundation that you have with your child in terms of enforcing discipline has to be very solid. And I think as a parent, you have to be consistent. But I also understand that when kids are not around you, they act a certain way. However, most of us, or at least most of us, should have an idea of how our children, like your child's social circle, and who they moving with, and if they get in trouble in school, or noticing they with the bullshit on the streets a lot. Those are signs of dysfunction, and a lot of times you want to act on them. But I mean, I could tell my son, if he's, like I said, 17, 18 years old, "Hey man, I don't want you going down there to State Fair," and he walk out the door and say, "Man, what dude talking about?" and be there anyways. But I think the communication between us as parents and our kids is broken. And without consequences, if you grow up without consequences, a lot of times you're gonna be with whatever, right? And I grew up with heavy consequences and still had a period in my life where I was crazy as hell and off the wall with it. So got another caller on the line. Let me see if I can pull this caller in. Caller, you are live on Outlaw Radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Salute, King. It's Liz Brown.
Liz Brown, a blast from the past. Wow, I ain't heard from you in a while, Liz.
Hey, it's been a minute. But somebody called me, like, they talk about the kids, so you already know I had to tap in.
Right. So we were just talking about the foolishness that occurred at State Fair over the weekend, which we've seen before. which we've seen.
Absolutely.
We see it all the time at different events, and this is festival time in the city. So you see our kids doing the food, we could talk about what they do and how they behave. I want to talk about solutions. So I wanted to know what would be your solution as a person who has obviously worked with the youth a lot in the past. What would be your solution for what's going on with our young people to prevent this kind of foolishness?
I mean, there's plenty solutions. Again, the question is, when are we as adults going to take accountability for what's not happening for the kids? Because again, we see this even, Kevin, in our age, fights happen. Okay. I mean, we're in America, first of all. The reality of, America is at war right now while we're talking about fighting and we're talking about the kids. Okay. Unnecessarily. But when you look at the city of Milwaukee and how long you've been here, born here, raised here, how much of the wheel tax, the street tax, the property tax, the school tax, how much of that money is going to build things for these children? You understand what I'm saying? Like, so the question that I have as we sit and we watch the demeaning conversations that are put out here about the kids, are they acting out? Absolutely. Again, when they have things like this and they go out, if they're not given positive things to do with their time, what usually happens? You know what I'm saying? That energy is redirected to something goofy. Again, do kids fight? Absolutely. Do adults fight? Because again, let's be realistic. When you turn on the TV, from championships being won, people being inebriated, adults are out here fighting. So I don't know what we expected from the kids. Again, what have we put forth for these kids to do better? When I'm looking at some of the adults, again, you can't blame the fruit from a tree that is rotten, that is out here stinking up the place, okay? Without accepting the reality of, again, here we are in a city that's known to be the worst place to be Black, worst place to raise Black children. We got a Black mayor, Black governor now. When you think about everything that we have that's Black and how nothing Black has gotten better, like, we really have to ask ourselves, because again, my property tax went up. I didn't vote. I didn't say yes for MPS, but the school system has got worse. Nothing is really getting better. And no matter how much money they suck out of us, if we're not applying it to make things better, then what we talking about? Because when we go to talking about the programs, the nonprofits, who we know for facts, and I know for a fact, that collect all of this money and give out 10 book bags to children who can't read, okay? When it was a problem with the Stolies and, driving crazy in the city of Milwaukee, I'm like, okay, so we see what our kids like, okay? They want to drive. So let's put together a program where you get them into, mechanics, open up a track or something on a Sunday where they can go and race and get their license. Like, again, I've seen other communities whose children were getting tickets for skateboarding. You know what they did? Got together and put together a skateboard park. Okay? There's community whose children wanted to ride dirt bikes and they were getting citations for riding on business parking lots. You know what they did? They got together and put together a dirt bike park.
So a couple points. I do agree that the MPS funding is ridiculous. We're talking about $1.5 billion. It has driven the property tax levy up 1 million times. there are supposed to be some community resources that are allocated funding to create resources for youngsters. And so I agree with that. But I mean, in terms of policy enforcement, do you advocate stricter curfew laws for state fair? And because we're going to say, is when they put that in effect, we're going to say, see, they don't want us. They don't want us out there. And so it turns into something that's race-based versus, hey, we just want the foolishness to stop. Because I know I, for one, hate to see anything created in terms of consequences put in place just because black kids were being involved in it. But I just think more policy. Do you think this is a situation where they need to put stricter policies in place? Or how much of this falls on the parents? Because we talk about MPS and how much money you put in there, but it doesn't matter how much money you put in the MPS if they got a 50% truancy rate, because the kids aren't going to school.
Period. But even when they go into school, they wasn't learning nothing. So, I mean, the reality of that is, because when we're talking about state fair, I could have swore that's what Tom Barrett got beat up at too, right? And that wasn't a black kid.
He got his ass whooped.
I mean, he got pulverized at state fair as well. And that didn't have nothing to do with a black kid. No, you understand what I'm saying?
By a Native American.
So when we're talking about, incidents, like I said, I don't know how we get to a point where we forget when we were kids the BS that we did, I mean, the reality of it is, should we put together a curfew? Because we had a curfew too. Exactly. But things still transpired. The reality of it is, I think if we do better things with our money and put together these programs, because I mean, even if we think about it, Kevin, back then, there were a lot of things that we can do. Are we going to have those youth who, got to learn the hard way? Absolutely. So putting these things in play, because again, like I said, nothing new under the sun. The city of Milwaukee, it's always dropping the ball when it comes to our community. Because again, just like the African World Festival, and how soon do we forget that it was black faces and black hands that screwed that over for us too, But the reality is, I've been at State Fair and there was incidents not as big as this, but they didn't look like us, but they don't never make the news. Okay?
Yeah, we know that. We know that.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, realistically, we can talk until we blue in the face. One thing for sure and two for certain, though, none of these dollars have went towards anything extracurricular for our children. I remember having teen clubs. We was able to go to clubs and all of these things. We know that the Boys and Girls Club, they kind of shut down. When we talk about now putting it back on the parents, we also can't forget the fact that it's always been on the parents. The truancy laws that they put in place for the parents if the kid don't go to school. But at the same time, this is the same parent that you said I can't whoop my kids. Okay? There's a law against me whooping my kids. That's child abuse. Okay? You telling me that, I mean, we damned if we do and we damned if we don't.
Okay.
The reality of it is I'm working a full-time job and I told Tyrone to be in the house. I can't man him the house and work. We just got to put neighbor back into the hood. Because again, once we handle what we're going to do, what are we going to build for them? You know what I'm saying? Because we really haven't put our money where our mouth is. Because like I said, I've seen investment into downtown with the trolley that go around in circles. Okay? I'm seeing investment in areas that's not equated to our area, but when we think about where we're living and what we paying, because I'm in the hood, because you're in the hood, our property taxes are up. We pay more for insurance due to the fact, thanks to David Crowley and his crony Cavalier, what you talking about, Willis Johnson, they took our civic engagement when it comes to what they gonna do with our property tax, and all of these surrounding suburban places getting money off of them taking money from us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I mean, again, we have to ask ourselves, at what point do we stand 10 toes down about putting things in place where we can literally say that there's something for these kids to do?
Okay.
Because I don't really see kids outside no more because it's all, the tablet, the internet. I mean, I haven't seen kids really outside playing in probably a decade. So where's all of this energy going? You know what I'm saying?
It's different now. It's different. They don't utilize.
Absolutely.
They don't use outside like we used to use it. I tell you what, Liz, it was good to hear your voice again. I'm glad you tuned in tonight. We got a whole bunch of other stuff we're gonna talk about. Some of it which I know you probably be interested in. So please don't be a stranger.
Hey, say less.
I got a bunch of people hitting my line. But it was good to hear your voice on Outlaw Radio again. So don't be a stranger. Hit us back if you hear something else that piques your interest.
Will do. Salute.
All right. Peace and love. Hey, y'all, I got the fact checker in the building. He finally tapped in. Better late than never, but he's here. Fashionably late, as they call it. What did you, Ian? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm good, man. Had a lot of fun this weekend. I just want to say to the News Undone team, y'all some fools. All weekend they was making memes and all kind of shit from last week, from Wednesday. So they was just making fun of Orlando. It was funny though, man. But yeah, but other than that, man, everything been good, man. How was your weekend?
Man, tight like that booty. I'm always relaxed. I'm always chilling. I'm always laid back. So it's never no stress, man. Just relaxation, just chilling.
Never a dull moment, but never a moment to make you stress on it.
Man, we'll be chilling, man, for real. Yeah. Let me go to the chat room. Orlando Owens is in there. He said, Earl, mute your phone in your mouth if possible. Brendan said, did you see the teacher crying about the kids that can't read? I did see that.
Yeah, I saw that shit.
Ewok was letting me know that Liz Brown was finna hit the line. Shout out to Liz Brown, who was one of the old original Outlaws from back in the day. It's good to hear your voice again.
She a beast, by the way. I love her.
Kerry Walker said, belt to ass. Orlando said, solution? Okay. I mean, what are you saying, Orlando? There's no solutions possible? I don't know. Shabaka said the black family unit is shattered. Albert Bell, what up, Albert? He said pimping ain't easy, but I still ain't doing it.
He's stupid. That's so good. Albert got the comment of the thread so far. That's pretty funny.
Shabaka said the black family unit must be reestablished. Orlando Owen said, Liz Brown, what's up? And he's saying outlaw Liz. He's shouting out Liz. Liz didn't get a lot of love. She was a big part of the show for a while. Shabaka says a black mayor, a black governor, and a black president serves the same slave masters and not black people.
That's so real. So true.
And let's be honest, DC ain't governor yet. He's trending well. He's up in the polls, which we found out polls don't mean shit, but hey.
No, they don't.
It looking good. Shabaka said there's education and miseducation and de-education. Okay. I think in Milwaukee, we float on a whole kind of bed of negativity. Like the sister tapped in on, this city statistically has been proven to be one of the worst places, or the worst place to raise a family, in particular to raise young black children.
Yep.
It's a city that's just, in terms of serving black youth, is lost its way. I was born and raised in Milwaukee. Milwaukee was a place that it was always a lot to do, in particular in the summer. The summertime was the best time to me. It was the best place to be. But a lot of the places that we used to go to, even as young children coming up, kind of taught us order because we had these places to go and you learn how to act there. So when you got older, you behaved accordingly. But also, once I became a teenager and the whole city went crazy, the crack epidemic drove us all out our damn minds. Then I was in some of those teenage groups where we were just wilding out. So, but I think that stricter enforcement of this curfew might be one part of it, but then there's something going on within the black family that parents and because you shouldn't lose total connection to your children just because they got a few years older. Nope. Like I said, I had my time of being loose, but I still respected my mom, and I still didn't want to bring no shame to her or our household. And I understood that if I brought some bullshit home, it's gonna be hell to take to the captain. Some way, somehow, we've lost our connection there. Earl Henning said, Orlando, Mr. Hamilton is looking for you. Wow. Okay, Earl. Okay, Earl. Okay, Earl. Lord have
Mr. Hamilton. Hold on, what that mean?
you know what it mean. You know what it mean. You put that shit up.
Oh yeah, some of the shit.
He said, KB, the way they were fighting out there was a disgrace. And my brother worked security, and he said a girl threw a drink in one of the security face. The security got fired on the spot. These young girls are just as out of control as these boys. She said, KB, I grew up here in the city, and the leadership is pitiful right now. Yes, the situations are dope dens and need to be closed up, and curfew should be enforced. Parenting at all-time low. Said mothers are afraid of their children and men. I think she didn't get to finish that. Orlando says facts. Well, I can tell you this: as I had my children, one thing that I knew is if you do something, and I had to whoop your ass, and you chose to go and bring the laws into it, you could no longer stay here. And I would be honest in telling them it's going to get worse from here. So you may as well take him or her with you, which was the quote that I learned from my mom. That, if you went to school and you were in gym and you had welts on your legs, you go talk to a guidance counselor. And, we tell my mother, like, hey, they asked me what was up with my legs, and I could have got you in trouble. And my mother would say, I wish you would bring them motherfuckers here, because I tell them to take your ass with them. Now, do you want to live in the county in some kind of home, or you want to live here? So there's a choice to make. So I would have never betrayed my mom by bringing the police in because I got a whooping. Unless, if I was getting hit with sticks and shit like that, but I was not getting my ass whooped with belts, sometimes an extension cord here and there. But I just think the understanding between you and your children has to be solid, because I think my son and my daughter knew that if they brought the laws into my house for this shit, our relationship was about to be different from then on out. It would have been a whole different dynamic. So what is it that's making kids throw caution to the wind and say, I call the police on my own mama, and then go out in the hood and be talking about I ain't no snitch? You snitched on your own mama? What you talking about? A says the culture of Milwaukee is fucked. That's a whole different conversation, y'all. We're going to talk about the culture of our city. Orlando Owen said News One is a joke. I think he meant News Undone. I don't think he meant News One.
Hey, we was going at his ass all weekend. It was kind of funny.
Shabaka said the crack epidemic was a government plot by the Reagan regime. I don't disagree with that. I think the crack epidemic was engineered by the Reagan regime and their fake ass crusade to keep communism out of South America. That bullshit. Orlando Owen said, Earl, go take a bath and go to bed. It's past your curfew. And he said, Earl Henry said, keep your ass in the house. So they going at it in the chat room. I got the line clear. Earl, are you still on? Okay, the line is clear. Ace, I seen you trying to reach out, man. I want you to tap in. I'll let your boy. 262-202-5131 is Outlaw Radio live on a Monday. This is
Messy Monday.
Oh my gosh, please. Why you had to say that? Because
it's finna get messy. It's finna get bad. I already know.
Once again, Ace, hit me up. I'm waiting on your call. I seen you trying to get in while the sister was on. Let's talk about these kids before we move on. I just think there's some I think it's enough blame to go around. I think the city fails our kids in terms of structure. I think the parents right now ain't parenting like they should, because there's a movement to be more friends with your kids than there are to being a parent. But I also think a lot of it falls on the kids too. Ace, give me a second. I think a lot of it falls on the kids too, because these kids need to start understanding that it's consequences for your behavior. Okay. And I feel like a lot of our kids don't really accept consequences. Even if you confront them about something they've done, a lot of times they won't take responsibility for it. So I think it's enough to go around. I think it's enough blame to go around. And I think that we need to start having dialogue centered around this. Enough. I feel like we sweep it up under the carpet a lot. So my phone line is banging. Ace Cooley's in the chat room, and he's on the line. He said, now the crack babies done turned into fucked up parents. Brandon Hayes, he's already moved on to the Somali TPS. And Shabaka says it's designed that way. Now, Ace, are you still on the line?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
What's on your mind, man? Holla at your boy.
This shit is bananas, man. I mean, like you said, man, she pretty much summed it up. This shit started home. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Since we were young, we had such an influx in people to move here. So it's a lot harder to control now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the population
At
has
the
dropped
same
since
time,
we were
man.
young, though, Ace. When we were
You
young,
think
there was yes, as factual. When we were young, there were 30,000 people here. Now there's only 575.
Well, they wasn't born here like that.
I ain't never seen that many people in Milwaukee.
Like that.
It's always been 580 something. First that I've always seen with the sun.
When I was young, it was 635.
Oh damn.
But then again, too, man, you know what? I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't know if you've been watching these videos. Just don't watching the parents and these back to school shits. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching parents. I mean, the kids coming in, parents are telling them to pose. Man, they sticking their finger up. Man, these are 10 and 12-year-old kids. They sitting there with stacks of money. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, man. But you know what? Every time somebody die, everybody got to go fund me. You know, it's shit like that. The priorities is fucked up. But especially when we try to have something in our community, man. I hate to say this, but man, I mean, they got money for flock cameras and shit like that. I mean, they need to create some sort of system, and I know this would work, of isolation for those individuals. You get what I'm saying? If you can't get in nowhere because you've been starting shit or you fucking up at Summerfest, you shouldn't be able to get in State Fair or any other festival for a good while. You know what I'm saying? And that'll get their ass right. Because at this point, like you said, you can't do nothing to the kids. You know, because they can call police on you. You know, but yet the police can fuck around and kill them for less. See, we don't got no kind of real structure here in Milwaukee when I talk about shit like that, because their option is to give you no options to make money off of it. Does that make sense? Because they're gonna send them up to whatever.
Right. Well, I think the kids they are food for this system, because they don't want you to listen to your parents, because they want you to get in trouble so you can go up north and keep some white family out there gainfully employed, and they'll send their kids to UW-Madison off watching your ass while you're locked up.
Yep.
This goes right back to the whole Black Panther thing. This is really why the Black Panthers got shut down, because it wasn't because they was violent. It was the food drives. It was their ability to provide health care and things like that. And you know, if you don't need the state, you don't got to fuck them. You know, they get offended. They want you to need them, because that's when they can drain you. You see what I'm saying? If you don't need them, they can't do nothing. So I mean, this is what a problem is. You know, but also I hate to say it. You know, in some situations, violence is necessary. Violence is necessary, because some people just don't understand anything else different. You get what I'm saying? These kids and shit like that. You know, like I told you before, man. Like, look, we got OGs, you know, that's tired of it. We got decent people, grown men, that are tired of this situation. You know what I'm saying? We got collegiate people, all this shit, man. It's way more of us than it is of them. And until we say, you know what, man, we seen you down there fucking up. You know, if you don't take responsibility, we're going to take the responsibility out of their hands, and we're going to fuck you up. And this is just the only way that's going to work. Because if they still ain't got no consequence, right now, it's going to be just like it is right now. They look at an OG now, fuck you, man. I ain't got to listen to you, okay? This got to happen. We have to clean our own shit up, because we can't rely on them to do it. They're making money off this shit. Why would they quit? Why would they stop it?
That's true. That's very.
You get
true.
what I'm saying?
There's always been a conflict of interest of the state to help the city, because, well, you know, because we said we got to keep that almighty Department of Corrections fed and fat. So, you know. Well, Ace, I'm glad I got your piece on this. I'm glad I got your piece on this. I still want to talk solutions for anybody that's out there. And I got some other people in the chat room. Earl, are you in the chat room?
Yeah, I'm still here, man. I'm still on the phone with y'all.
Okay, what's on your mind?
Man, tell Orlando it's all right, man. I don't mean no harm, and I'd rather take a shower.
Okay.
Then a bath. And I go to bed when I want to. I'm grown. I pay my bills.
Okay. I think I was trying to add Ewok to the conversation. E, are you with us? No, he would have damn sure said something by now. E, hit the line,
Yeah.
man. Hit the line.
And Kevin, it's baffled how you have these kids out here acting a fool, and nobody know who kids they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who kids are they?
imagine being on Facebook looking at this shit and you say, "That's my goddamn son." Imagine
You silly KB. I saw that shit. I was like, damn, they fighting like a motherfucker.
right. I gotta call his phone now. I need you to bring your ass home. We gotta talk, man.
Call that motherfucker track phone.
Right. Hey man, bring your ass to the crib.
Bring your ass to the crib, dog.
Bring your house keys with you, man.
Here right now. I'm on, Kev.
All right, hold on. Give me a second, E. I'm trying to merge. I'm trying to get you on with everybody else.
That's fucking funny.
Man, this shit is crazy.
Oh, this is gonna get even crazier. I'm finna act a fool over the next few weeks.
76.
Motherfuckers like to talk stuff and shit.
You with us?
Yes, sir. I'm right here.
What's on your mind, man? Holla at your boy.
Shit, I don't know. Shit, I'm nosy now. I want to know what happened. You know, Ian said some shit went over on the weekend because Orlando called in hot in the motherfucker, man. That Earl like a motherfucker, man.
I guess I should answer that. Okay, so Wednesday, Orlando, like I was trying to be cool and Orlando kept coming at me, right? So it's all good. Like, I mean, I threw my shots back or whatever, but my team watched the show every week because, you know, we just try to figure out other things. Like sometimes if you notice on my post, it'll be something that we talked about on here or we'll expand on something like we were talking about Keefe D. So we did a couple posts on the Keefe D trial or whatever. And on News Undone TV, we'll do more of a serious article or whatever. But motherfuckers started making memes about Orlando because like Ewok, he was texting me, he's like, dog, man, you was letting that nigga eat you up in the thing. I'm like, I be trying to be cool and not go at dude like that. But I'm like, if he can't shut the fuck up, I'm here for this shit. I'm fun. You know what I'm saying? I have fun with it anyway. Like, so I'm just like, all right, whatever. If he want to call and be disrespectful, I'm gonna be disrespectful in my way. And we just started like coming up with ideas and just making fun of him, making memes and shit. But one of my people created a page with his real name. I think it's Chavez Orlando Anderson. Some shit. It sounds Spanish as a motherfucker. And we created a page and we was just clowning him and shit. Yeah, bro. It's funny. I'll tag you, bro. This shit was funny as hell. So he fucking or him or whoever, it had to be him because he can dish it out, but he can't take it. So we had this Chavez Orlando Owens page and he got it suspended and shit. Like he do that. And then I did an article about some shit he did in 2007. It just ties to his personality because he got into it with Ashanti Hamilton. He was trying to bait Ashanti. And then when Ashanti retaliated, I don't know if Ashanti put his hands on him or nothing like that. I don't know any of that. But I know that Orlando like was talking tough, and then that nigga called the police on him. And then Ashanti got a $175 ticket. It just plays into his personality. Like he do all this. And he also say that he's not paid by members of the Republican Party. So me and my researcher, we looked it up. He makes $73,000 a year for Ron Johnson. So there's no way that dude can be unbiased and have an unbiased opinion. And that's why it's funny. That's why
I thought he was Big Worm.
Yeah, hey, I put that on there too. Hey, KB, I had a picture of Orlando's face. I had a picture of him side by side with Faison Love. And then I put I get locked up because I got my own opinion. So we was just having fun with it type shit because I mean, dude, the only thing is I don't want to be super mean.
Y'all know he listening to this shit. He finna get on here. Y'all know, hey, I'm finna get off of here though, but y'all know he listening to this shit. He finna get on here stuttering and shit with mouth mouth ass.
He do not pay no bills at my house.
All right,
yeah, so we was just having fun with him to give everybody context.
I just wanted to know what was happening, man. Y'all go on, finish it up.
And you know what's so crazy? What's so crazy about it, man? We losing control of these kids.
Yeah, true.
Us losing control of them. And they used to have, like, I think, like in parade in Chicago. Did you heard what happened there? Didn't you?
I did not. What happened in Chicago?
Oh, look, they acted a fool. A Billiken parade in Chicago.
But Billiken really usually don't have no problems there.
Yeah,
Shit
well, they
wild
did
everywhere,
this year.
KB.
Wow.
You
Well,
know, and it's scary, man. Like I say, the Milwaukee Art Festival, that they try to. That's a watered down version of African World Festival,
Yeah.
and it's a shame that it comes to that we have to water down stuff. You have artists now, they just show up with a microphone. They don't even bring a band with them no more.
Damn.
something got to be
Because
done.
ain't nobody actually. Yeah, of course. It needs to be right away before it's too late. Or we're going to keep the Caucasian people up north in their $300,000 homes with their boats and their campers and their pickup trucks. Kids, UW Stout and UW Oshkosh, they coming home with degrees, and our kids are failing and going to jail. So until these kids wake up and smell the coffee, hey, it's gonna always be this way.
That's it.
Yeah.
True.
I agree. Hey, appreciate you always, Earl. Thanks for calling in, man. Hit us back because I got a lot more stuff to talk about tonight. So I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna catch your ear.
No problem. And tell Orlando I do love him, man. He a black brother. He just can't help it that he's getting paid by the man. The man paying him.
Hey, it is what it is, right? You got to get paid somehow.
Got to get paid no matter what. You know what I'm saying? That's why I put that thing this morning talking about some people can't understand how you can turn down money. And I turned down money from them motherfuckers. I was never going to sell my soul to push Republican talking points. Man, fuck that shit. No. No.
Okay. Look, for the rest of the night, if you got something you want to add about these kids, I'm definitely with it. It's Outlaw Radio. It's live. It's on a Monday evening. We are chopping it up. I had to open up with talking about the kids because that was the biggest news. Anytime I see the media, and I'm also very aware of things that I say the white man's not our only issue here in this country. And so when we say, well, what is the white man doing? What's his fault and what's not his fault?
Here we go.
And we could say the media, because we know the media will sensationalize anything that we're involved with.
Yes.
Facebook, and I see people of color out there saying, dog, check this shit out, saying, look, no, this is me. I'm black, and I'm showing our black kids acting an ass. I like to make a point of that and just talk about it. So if you want to talk about that more, please hit us up, 262-202-5131. But check this out. The other thing that I saw to come out of this weekend that was very, very crazy was this story about the U.S. being one of 3 members of the United Nations that voted against the General Assembly resolution. And this just was last week, Wednesday, calling the trafficking of enslaved Africans. The UN wanted to come up with a resolution and label it one of the greatest crimes against humanity. The United States, Argentina, and Israel were the only nations amongst the 193 member body that voted against the resolution.
Of course.
Basically, we're talking about the United Nations saying, hey, let's label the slave trade as crimes against humanity. And the United States, along with Israel, and this is why a lot of people have problems with Israel and all the support that Israel gets from us.
Yep.
And when it's something like black, like Africans, and we're talking about slavery, they vote against it. Of course, they're going to go with the United States most of the time. But this is why people have a problem with Zionism. And so I'd like to know what y'all think about this as well. It said the final vote was 123-3 as 52 nations, including the United Kingdom and all 27 members of the European Union, abstaining from the vote. Okay, and now here's the kicker. Within the UN doing this, this resolution calls for reparations as a step towards remedying historical wrongs.
Of course it does.
Okay. It says the resolution also sought the prompt and unhindered restitution of cultural items belonging to African nations, including artworks, documents, monuments, museum pieces, and national archives at no cost to the nations. All right. Now, prior to the vote, our U.S. Ambassador Dan Negrea says he's against the idea of reparations. Obviously, of course, we know that. He said that while the U.S. opposes the wrongs of slavery, it does not support reparations for actions that were not illegal under international law at the time. So basically, the U.S. is saying, "Hey, we don't believe in reparations because what we was doing at the time was technically legal," which
Dumbass shit.
is kind of hypocritical because you've given Jewish people reparations, and according to what Hitler and them was doing at the time in Germany, that was legal. So I don't understand, and
Bro,
did with internment camps with the Japanese, it was legal at the time, but you still gave them reparations for it. So come on.
if it's us though, KB, if it's us, this is what they do, and this is what they try to do to me. I can only use my example. See, when you get some popularity, like me, I got over 50,000 subscribers on my fucking TikTok or whatever, millions of views across the internet collectively over the years. What they'll do is they'll say, "Hey, we'll give you a couple $100 a month or a couple $100 a week if you talk about this or you talk about this." That's if you got numbers, right? The problem I have, and this is why I have a problem with these house niggas that support the Republican Party and try to pretend like the independent thinkers and all this other bullshit. Everything that you said, ask these black men that support the Republican Party, ask them specifically, do they support reparations? You'll never get an answer. I put up a video about a year and a half ago with our mutual friend Orlando Owens, where he was talking about with Cindy Warner when they was in Lily White, Wisconsin, where they were basically saying that, well, not they, I didn't hear her say anything, where he was specifically saying, all that other stuff, and slavery slaves didn't build America, trying to cater to these people. Now, the reason I always bring up what he makes getting paid by Ron Johnson, because it ties together. He's getting paid as a plant. That's all it is. And in the beginning, I never thought about that. I really thought they were doing good work. But the more I researched is the more I saw. And now we hear, oh my God, if he would have just shut the fuck up, I never would have started researching him. My goodness.
But to his credit, he ain't got nothing to do with what the UN vote with.
I'm just saying it all ties together. Like him on a lower level, it all ties together. Because you ask him about reparations, he don't support that shit. He supports a candidate that gets money from AIPAC. Orlando doesn't support any of this shit. He's going to support certain things. And that's why I tied his little ass into it. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason I brought him into it, to make a point. And that's what kills me, because no one's saying any of this. They call these people grassroots activists and all of this other different stuff, when all they are is just people that are going to spew Republican or Democrat talking points. That's it. So that's my 2 cents on it, man, because it all ties together. Of course, that KB, that makes perfect sense that the United States, did you say Israel as well?
Yeah.
The United States and Israel. And who supports Israel? Trump, who's the head of the Republican Party, and they all fucking worship Trump. So yeah, they all support it, and they all are actively covering up pedophilia investigations. They all support it. Bunch of hypocrites, bro, as far as I'm concerned.
Let me go to the chat room. Orlando said, yeah, news unheard of is trash. I stand corrected.
That was a good one. News unheard of. I like that.
Ace Cooley said, in a lot of these cases, the girls are worse than the boys. The girls wasn't that bad back in our day. Lord, we don't even get talking about that. And Aaron Brown, shout out to Aaron Brown, my homie. He said, like Aaron Magruder said, time is running out. Ace says, yeah, that happened a while ago. That was when the president of Ghana tried to steal our reparations, saying they should get paid for the loss of people. Okay. And let me go. He said, that's bullshit because the Zionists of Israel made a deal with Hitler. Okay. Now I do have Orlando on the line, and I got Earl who called back. So I'm going to give Orlando a chance to respond.
Earl called back.
Name he called, and then I want to hear what Earl got to say. What's going on, Orlando? What's on your mind?
You got it, brother Cam.
I still got a lot of female niggas got my name in their mouth for some reason. It just goes on. Like, I don't know if I do this just for class, for clicks, bait, or whatever.
Clickbait.
Some real bitch ass niggas, man. There's some real bitch ass niggas with real some sweet blood pumping through their veins. It's crazy to me. But want to say like I'm from this way and drop names and want to say they tough. These some bitch ass niggas, man. I've never seen so many men so concerned about another motherfucker. Man. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me, but hoes do what hoes do. They gonna be bottom, shelves. And
I'm a reverend.
it is what it is. When the weakness has to die down to something that's stronger than that.
Bitch ass niggas. I'm a reverend though.
Where I was, in my the dude can't control itself. The dude can't control
itself. I'm a reverend, but I be cussing all the time. Motherfuck Ian.
Hold on, Ian. Let him talk.
Okay.
Let him talk.
Fall back. There's room for the Lord to work on me too, Ian. So just fall back. Just fall back.
I support pedophiles.
But you got to be put in your place because again, you don't have no self control. You're an emotional, unfit man. And I don't know if you really, at the level have you really matured into manhood. It's really crazy how much you really in a couple ones, E-Walk and Earl. I have no clue why y'all so fascinated with me. Y'all do know I'm married, right? So none of you niggas got a chance with me. And
hey, show a picture of your wife online, though. I don't know why you never do that either. You being a family man.
Let's make sure.
Hold on, man. Hold on.
Let's let each other talk. Finish up.
Where's the picture of his wife, though?
Land the plane, like they said.
I'll land right here. This is what the emotional she-males, they might as well be transgender because they so weak anyway. Nobody cares about, where I get. Cats don't understand. I was a conservative before I worked for anybody because that's crazy. I don't need a paycheck to look at. I look at policy that I believe that makes sense to me. No matter who I work for. I work for 1,001 companies. And my positions were at one point more, in today's vernacular, more liberal. But as I saw, like, wait a minute, this is some weird stuff. And maybe more conservative. So irregardless of what I work for, all due respect, Cass, it is where I am. And these cats who want to say these things and throw up me, so immature, bro. Nobody got his page blocked. I don't even know this dude again. News on who? Man, I don't follow that dude's page. I don't care about what the dude say. He's a bum. Earl and Ewok. And also, y'all can kick around because all you doing all this internet stuff, man. Go support your candidate. Support your concepts. If you believe what happened at State Fair is, a political position, fine. Make your argument, man. But these niggas can't even do that. He's so lousy in the brain. He's so intellectual, a bunch of dwarfs, a bunch of females. I'll land there.
All right. Now I got Earl who called back. Earl, you hit us back, so I'm assuming you had something to talk about when I said about the United Nations vote. What's going on?
Yeah, we all know if you got a black man that works for a white man and he doesn't mention reparations to people for being put through slavery, he's a lost cause. And for Orlando to think that somebody wants to have some emotional beings with him, he's shitting out his mind. You got to be crazy as hell to think somebody wants you. But your wife, because you paid her to be with you. She probably paid. You probably bought her. It doesn't make a difference to me who you are or what your job title is. Just go to hell. You don't understand. Sellouts are sellouts. If you a sellout, accept being a sellout. Point blank, you a sellout, bro. You a sellout.
Hey,
Ron Johnson.
He cost $73,000 a year. But go ahead, continue, bro. I just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, he's getting his reparations from Ron Johnson. Because what title do he hold? What policies do he make? He don't make no policies with the job he got. He go around, like you say, he keep going around. Let's talk about what black folks do, bro. I do not want to sleep with you. I like women. I don't like niggas. I like women. Women.
Hey, he the only one that brought up the gay stuff, ain't he? When he's talking about trying to project it. He gay as hell for that shit. And he don't never show no pictures of his wife.
It sounds kind of odd, Earl.
No, it don't sound Just figure it out, bro. You know what you are up to. You just like that cop that's going around right now that they shining the light on. You one of them, bro. Figure it out. You don't
Officer
know.
Tatum.
Sell out. You would sell out. You would sell out your own people for $1, and you know it. You're doing it.
I don't sell nobody out, my people, whatever case may be. But I will say this: you're a Sambo nigga, and he's an old Sambo nigga.
You a house nigga.
This dude, hold on, fall back.
No, bro. I'm a licensed electrician by trade.
Let me settle this thing out, because the biracial dude who likes all type of.
Hey, you work for a living. He live off of government like people on welfare.
Let me send this, because it's a whole lot of interference going on, Earl. I'm gonna tell you like this, Earl. I believe you may be a hardworking man. The policies you support, they bullshit, and you don't bullshit. And the dude in the background who's a fanboy for Cass, he can suck a big dick, because he's an asshole too. I want to be clear. If Cass got real beef, what I had to say.
You talking about sucking dick and sodomites? Dude, ain't you a reverend, bro? Why is you on here talking all this reckless shit? You a clown, dog. You sellout house nigga.
I just say, look at the results of what the policies are, Earl. If you believe that the support that you want to give to your Tony Evers, to your Barack Obama, to your David Crowley has actually helped this black community based on the things we've seen of recent history and, going back. If you believe that, Earl, man, more power to you. I don't know how many things you got left, but man, more power to you. But don't let this goofball, so-called co-host,
this goofball,
add you up. And that's for Earl, that's for Ewald, whatever the case may be. You want to disagree with me, Earl? That's cool. Let's disagree on the issue without getting the slick mouth talk. Now you might well.
The question is, Orlando,
come on, fruit cup, land the plane.
What policies Ron Johnson them put out here that's helping the community of whole?
Yes.
Let's have the discussion, brother Earl, because you my elder. And I do have a problem that I got to check you sometimes. But I'm a man. So I'm always
you can never check me, bro. Because you can never check me.
You had a question, right? So let me answer your question. I do support my ability to have my firearms, and I don't want nobody having any way close to trying to deter those rights to defend me and myself and my family. I do like the idea of school choice. I believe parents should have their choice to whatever school works for them. The money should follow the book bag. I believe that, Earl. I believe that this country is the best country, and now she's not perfect, but also believe that we need to have a border, and we should be able to control who comes in this country legally and illegally. So those are some things to me, brother Earl, quite honestly, that I support. Now, why do you support Democrats, Earl, if I can ask you that?
I believe everything the Republicans say.
Ain't got to do. Let me say this to you, Orlando, and you quote me on this if you want to. I've seen the issues that we having. They don't make no laws for us. They haven't made a law. They make a law for everybody else. But if you do something to a black person, it don't matter. Come on, man. You don't see the big picture?
So, Earl, let me ask you this question. With that not having a law, is that universal?
Orlando, hold on. One thing we can't do is hand the hosting of the show over to you and you just start dictating what we're going to talk about. We don't want to do that because I got other stuff in my talking points. I'm glad you all are able to.
No problem.
I'm glad both of y'all are able to have a real, conversation. But I would suggest y'all get each other's numbers and talk in the background because I want to move the show on. I don't think people tuned in tonight to necessarily hear
The only way he can have my number is he needs some electrical work and he want to give me some of that money he getting from Ron Johnson.
That over 73,000 per year, sir.
All right, so let me go to the chat room.
That's all.
Kerry Walker said, like I said, they worship the devil in. I don't
they
know
do. Yeah.
Laughing my ass off, messy ass Monday. Yeah, unintentionally. She said it sounds emotional to her. This is Kerry Walker. She said, Earl, you got to let them know in my
TI voice.
And Ewok said, Orlando, use your firearm to kill yourself. We better off without you.
Oh, God.
Right now, I'm really endorse nothing like that.
Ewok, come on, bro. God dang.
And I brought up that thing about the UN resolution in this kind of situation because
that's touchy, bro.
The very conversation of reparations is way more controversial than it should be, even amongst Black people. I think a lot of Black people don't understand how, even if we were to say, yeah, okay, we're going to pass it, the argument would then focus on how would it be distributed and who's going to be eligible for it. Like, so the devil is in the details. But I think anytime the United Nations says, hey, there's some shit here that needs to be taken care of, and the United States' position is, nah, because it was legal when we was doing it. It's like, that's like the worst answer possible, right? Because you've given reparations to people and groups of people over the years. Hell, we just watched Trump talking about giving reparations to the January 6 people. We've seen continuous financing of Jewish reparations, even to the point where they were talking about getting all the artifacts back and all this kind of stuff. So it has to become a situation where it's not cool for everybody else. I mean, it's cool for everybody else, but it's not cool for us. That's like really the issue here. And I understand the United States' reluctance to really speak on anything in terms of saying, yeah, it was wrong. We admit we were wrong, because then that makes it seem like, yeah, now you owe reparations. You should be paying it. So, I just think it's just very funny that, the United States still to this day won't own up to what they did. And obvious there's long-term damage from what happened during slavery in this country.
Yeah.
Itself to Jim Crowism and all the way up to the crack epidemic, because I still believe that was executed on us because they felt like we were inferior in the first place. So I just think it's funny for the United States. And I also think it's funny that none of these partisan politics or politicians that are supposed to be people of color never take anyone to task for it. They don't speak on it. They don't say, hey, we want this. They don't talk about a policy that would enforce it. But yet we still fall all over ourselves to go and vote for them and support them. So, it's time for us to start really charging these elected officials with doing what they're supposed to do for the people. Now I got Ewok on the line. Ewok, what's popping, man?
I'm not gonna hold you, man. I just want to say this real quick and real fast, man. It's a damn shame for motherfuckers like Orlando to even get a chance to talk, because they dangerous. It's fucked up. I'm not gonna call him no coons or no shit like that. But you know what? He's a lost soul. He's a lost cause ass nigga. He don't give a fuck about nothing, and he'll sit there and create lies and then try to manipulate the rest of us to think like he think. Nigga, we ain't never finna think like you ever on earth, motherfucker. You black fucking SpongeBob body having motherfucker, and I'm out.
Well, we can say that he shouldn't have a chance to talk, but also his name is, when somebody's saying your name over and over, his name has been mentioned 50 times since the show started. So anytime somebody's calling somebody's name, yeah, I'm gonna let him talk. I mean, people keep calling his name. Why would I then tell him you can't talk if somebody's calling you out by name? Yes, I'm going to allow him to speak, just like I will allow anybody else to speak. If that's the case, then I should say anybody who says Orlando's name, I'm hanging up on them.
Hey, the thing is though, man, it's all fair, man, and it is what it is. Like, for instance, or whatever, I like to just keep shit kind of 100% real. If you getting paid by the Republican Party or somebody that is a high-ranking member of the Republican Party, you got to say Republican Party talking points. And no matter what you say, he's never going to admit it. So I just be having fun with it, because he's never going to admit that he has to say what they tell him. So he might have some of his own opinions. I personally don't think that he do, because I've had people tell me for years, they was like, dude used to be Black Lives Matter. They was like, he was a Democrat. I'm like, what? And then he got articles where he say he always been a conservative. I'm like, all right, man. I'm like, I don't know. But I had a lot of people telling me shit.
My point is, because Ewok was saying, and Ewok always tells me, yeah, you let him talk too long. You shouldn't let him talk.
He be telling me that too.
But if people are saying the man's name, he deserves a right to come on and say something. Like,
yeah, he should.
I don't know why somebody would tell me. It's like if somebody was calling either one of y'all's name over and over.
You let us talk.
Hey, man, what you got to say about that? Because that's the kind of man I am. If you man enough to say somebody's name, then expect for them to come back and say something back. That's just
and it's funny half the time, man. Like at the end of the day, like I hope Orlando don't get too mad. Like if he stopped talking shit about me, I wouldn't make no videos. But if you gonna keep talking shit, you letting me know that you want me to make skits and shit about you, and I will.
If anybody's listening to the show, notice I've tried to move the show on, but it has come back to him over and over. So once again, you don't tell me don't let him talk if you're gonna keep bringing.
I want you to let him talk.
I'm just saying because Ewok has said that to me before, and I'm like, well,
he told me that too, KB. He told me that too.
This is why I don't allow anybody to dictate how I do what I do, because fair is fair and even is even, and whether I disagree with somebody or not, if I do disagree with them to the point where I got to say their name, then I expect them to respond. Now let me get this phone because this phone is ringing off the hook. Let me get to this, and I want to move on in terms of this whole thing because other than this, y'all are literally making this the Orlando Owens show, and that's not what it is on radio. Got people calling. I'm gonna take one call at a time. Orlando, you with me?
I'm here, bro.
What's going on, man?
Man, we can move on with the show, man. I said my piece. I think my position is what it's going to be. But let's be clear, because Ian's definitely a liar. So my position on reparations, I've always had a stronger argument.
That's my opinion, though. Oh, not a liar. It's just my opinion.
Hold on. You lying? Because I never said.
That's my opinion. That's all. It's not a lie. It's my opinion.
Hold on, man. That's again. My position, Kevin, is that I support the idea of 40 acres and a mule because that actually was talked about and documented that this is what we need to do for freed Africans. For all the question about the UN resolution is crazy, as one of the brothers put in the chat, that one of the countries wanted to chime in, but they wanted their people to get reparations while they themselves a trade that sold blacks into slavery. That's the problem when you saw all these countries chiming in, like, yeah, but you all were perpetrators of that. So if you want to do reparations, do that in your own country. I guess the UK has started some of those things, but I like to see what Africa is going to do because, again, you were part of that as well, too. I'm more of a proponent of 40 acres on the mule, and I'm with you, Kev. We can move on in the show, but I see I've triggered a lot of emotionally unstable individuals who really need to get themselves checked out.
Nah, they're not unstable, bro. They just don't agree with you.
Hold on. I'm talking to Kev right now. I'm talking to Kev, so I'll land right there, Kev.
All right, man.
I got you, Orlando. I got you. All right. Now I got Dion on the line. I thought Dion was on the highway. Dion, what's popping, man?
Oh, no, I was in my car. Hold on real quick.
He called to say,
ain't nothing much, man. What's going on with y'all?
Ain't nothing, man. It's Monday evening. I'm doing what I do. What's popping?
Man, chilling, man. I was happy to hear one of the old outlaws call in on Liz. And then I see y'all jumping on Orlando over there. But, besides Orlando, though, it still boggles me, why he supports this guy. Maybe one day he'll come to the realization and be like, hey, that I should have never supported that guy. Because he over there talking crazy about bombing Yemen and I just said, damn, I never knew that I know somebody that's a Trump supporter have to regret going in there looking at DJT and Cat. This man talking crazy about bombing Yemen, stuck in North Korea's big, about to back out of deals with South Korea when they've been an ally. It's just like his policies is just, and it's just sad though. And people should have just say, well, I benefit from his policies. Like, you don't even make enough money to benefit from his policies. You know what I'm saying? And just day after day after day after day, you just keep on seeing with this old ass 80-year-old retarded ass, racist ass, goofball ass dude doing. And they had some shit the other day. I don't know how true it was. They was on Facebook and they was talking about how Mitch McConnell didn't want people to have paid sick leave. But this motherfucker, we don't know if he dead or alive. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just like
Like, you know, and then in a way you just get so sick and tired of the politics. Then the day they was talking about David Crowley, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I feel like it was some bullshit behind that right there. They was like, they gonna have a talk with the Marquette Post because how did they show David Crowley so far behind and Mandela Barnes is in the lead and this, that, and the other and woo, So, man, but you know what the sad part about it is, though, man, when we see these people, you know, and I ain't talking about David Crowley, I'm talking about the white racists that's in power and government. When these people have control of our lives, you know, not just control of our lives like that, but, you know, as far as like how the economy grows and like, you know, as far as having clean water, fresh air, you know what I'm saying? Like people are lost their food stamps. And my mama, she used to get, she didn't give a shit, but she used to get $14 a month of food stamps. Then took that woman food stamps and she didn't even use the shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's just the fact that, you know, you're seeing so many people, the job market down, it's a lot of people that ain't even looking for work no more. They just said, fuck it, I ain't even trying to find no job no more. These motherfuckers ain't hiring me. Ain't no use for me to even, you know, and it's just sad though. And just to see somebody, you know, like I said, I can understand having, you know, conservative values and certain things like that. But this guy that's in office, he's not the person to stand behind. You know, him, Tom Tiffany, Ron Johnson, you know, none of them. Like today they were talking about Dwight Eisenhower, you know what I'm saying? And they were talking about he was like a moderate Republican, you know, looking at certain things, protecting voting rights. You know, it's just crazy. And we got these motherfuckers up in there that is gun-ho on dismantling everything and just inflicting harm against people. But the thing about it, though, oh yeah, and they was talking about your girl. No, I ain't gonna say your girl, but they, you know how I feel about that FBA thing. But they was talking about the girl named Tasha K, and I guess they was going in on her because she attacked the FBA and stuff like that. So it been a lot of other.
She lost 30,000 followers.
Yeah. Yeah, it been a lot of other things going on besides attacking all Orlando Horns. I mean, we know what
compared FBA to the Klan.
Ian destroyed him, you know what I'm saying? And you know, like I know his little background a little bit not like that, but I know he used to be a Democrat and, you know, ran for a lot of public offices not to win none of them. So, you know, just to keep attacking him, Ian, I think it's just a waste of your talent and a waste of your time, bro.
Oh yeah, bro. I'm gonna leave him alone if he eventually shuts the fuck up.
For Francesca Holmes, what her name is, Francesca Holmes. But he, like, I look at him, it's like, okay, because I felt a certain type of way. But towards him and any black person that voted for Trump. But I'm not gonna spend my time on tearing them down. But also, they're not accepted anymore. You feel what I'm saying? Like those people are excommunicated. All right, thank you, I appreciate it. Those people are excommunicated from the tribe. You know what I'm saying? Go start you a Donald Trump loving tribe, or you know your X chromosome, whatever y'all want to do. But I just don't want to be part of you because you went in there knowing what this man intentionally was going to do, how he was going to destroy and harm the United States government, and you set up there and put your vote behind him, regardless of whatever, and just admitting that you're wrong. Like, we fuck up sometimes. We fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you know, I ain't been that in tune and deep into that shit to be like, damn, the person that I chose, they wasn't the one. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out here like, man, I got
I was gonna ask you though, Dion. What's crazy is like everything that you're saying, and I think that it's not said enough, dude. Kamala Harris was a hell of a candidate. Like, I'm just talking about her platform because a lot of them, like Orlando, always talk about policies. She literally talked about home credits for people that wanted to buy homes. She talked about child care credits. She talked about health care. She talked about helping people start small businesses. And Trump and them have not talked about any of that. But they say when you ask them, that's all the same shit they support. But the guy that they support doesn't freaking support it. Just weird shit, bro. I just want to add that because you made me think about that by saying what you just said. Yeah, man. Wild, dude. Just wild shit, dude.
Dion, I appreciate you calling, man. Stay with us, man. I want to keep the phone line open. I appreciate you calling, man.
I'm an outlaw, man. I deserve no. I'm just fucking with you, kid. Go ahead, because I'm driving anyway, man.
All right.
All right.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Monday evening, as you see, can get a little crazy sometimes. Let me see what I got here. Phone is ringing very, 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 very frequently tonight. Ewok, what's going on, man?
No doubt. I don't want your listeners, and I don't want you to even get it twisted. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, yes, sir. No, it ain't that. You know what I'm saying? If Orlando it has the opportunity to use your platform and shit, I'm gonna use the same platform to let a motherfucker know, you know what I'm saying, how I feel about this situation and shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you right. It's your shit. You're gonna allow him to talk, and that's fine. But every time that motherfucker say some ignorant ass shit, it's some people that's listening to me too. So guess what? I want a motherfucker to know that he is not for us. So I use my opportunity to say the fuck what I say.
That's
So
fair.
I'll be waiting on his punk ass so I can check his punk ass on purpose. I purposely be waiting for him to try to talk that bullshit.
Once again, you proving my point that when you say his name, it's just a candy man. When you say his name, regardless of whether you agree with him or not, it ain't about that, because obviously unless you stupid, we understand you don't agree with him. You all are on two totally different sides of the fence. My point is to say, well, you shouldn't let him talk. You give him too much time.
No.
But at the same time, when you got multiple people saying his name in the chat room and on the phone, I'm going to say, let the man respond.
I understand that. I understand what you're saying, and I get it. That's why I opened up by saying that. Yeah, he can have all the time that you give him. He can have it, but I'm going to still say my shit, too.
I'll tell you what, anytime you call his name, it's going to justify me saying, well, let me hear what he got to say. What's his response?
And no doubt. And it's for a motherfucker to hear it, too, because guess what? They have a choice to see who the fuck sound more intelligent or who don't. Because he gonna sit around here and tap dance around this motherfucking racist ass people and shit. And I want my people to know, man, don't listen to this motherfucker because that nigga ain't shit. He ain't worth two dead flies. He would have told on the first slave that tried to run. And he ought to be ashamed of himself for that shit. And that's why I be saying what I be saying about his fool ass. He a fool ass nigga, man. And he's trying to make more fools and shit, and then you give him the mic and shit, and he be talking, so I got to destroy his talking points because I don't want him to make no more fools like him. It's my job to make him don't make no more fools, nigga, and I stand on it. Word 100, I'm going to leave your line open for the next caller.
All right, man. Let me go to the chat room. Kerry Walker said these funky-ass foreigners are more against us getting reparations than anybody. Orlando called in and said he believes in 40 acres and a mule. That's what he just said. Kerry said Haitians are now playing saying blacks are trying to separate ourselves from them. When them dusty foot foreigners came to this country disrespecting us. Okay, Kerry. Okay, Kerry. Erica Hunt, what it do, Erica? How you doing? It's Monday night. It's Outlaw Radio Live. You already know how this goes. A says, yes. Why is it only the Boule Masonic participants and gatekeepers for the Zionists, the only ones making any real money? Kerry said, or let Orlando talk. He needs to relieve himself of the BS sometimes. Okay.
That's funny. She's saying he full of shit. That's pretty good.
He said when the Democrats are in office, Ace Cooley. Ruben Anderson, what it do, my brother? How you doing, man? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Ace said, do y'all know that Trump now owns the Lakers? Does he?
I looked it up and it said that he does not. I'm not knocking Ace. I'm just saying I read that prior, and it said not. Maybe some associations to the Trump family, but no, I didn't see that.
Ruben said in other news, what about the body count? What about this body count? Yeah, that violence in Milwaukee don't stop, do it, Ruben? It hasn't stopped, and I don't hear any solutions. Orlando says, how silly now. So now this Dion is controller of the tribe. You don't have any standing of who in the tribe. A says, Dion, a lot of black people feel betrayed by Biden and the Democratic Party when they started giving our resources to immigrants, and we got homeless black people and veterans in the streets here. Here we go with this partisan politics shit again. It can just get deep. It's quicksand.
Yeah.
It never ends. That's why I don't engage in it. A says Kev, shut the whole Orlando conversation down. We got more important things to talk about. Okay.
Yeah, we do.
Orlando said, and now another fool who thinks they control who we are. There we go. Ruben said true. Ruben Anderson said true. Earl Henning said, black people, keep your head up. The real black people for the win. And Ruben says, can't take his voice. Can't take his voice. He's saying I can't take the man's voice. Orlando said Democrat talk. And then I'm just reading the chat room off, y'all. He says, Kerry, stop it. You sound like the idiot fanboy. Okay. And then we go down to A saying Jared Kushner, which is, and he doesn't finish. So, yeah. I mean, and then, like I said, I think once we get involved in partisan politics, it really ain't the black man's wheelhouse in the first place because we don't have enough influence. We don't have enough status. I think the Democratic Party just showed us how they really feel about us in this gubernatorial race. I did want to say we see how finicky and how foolish the polls are because now David Crowley is leading Tom Tiffany, who was said at front in just a couple of weeks ago, he was out in front of everybody. Okay.
Who are the FBA Republicans voting for?
I don't know any FBA Republicans, so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
No, Mr. Barnes. Orlando is the FBA Republican.
You just did it again. You just brought his name up again.
I did that intentionally. Absolutely.
That's for you. That's for you. Because first of all, you said FBA Republicans like plural, but he's just one person. We know who he's voting for.
KB, you be checking me. You be calling me out, man. Yes, I did it intentionally. I'm just curious because I don't understand it.
But at the end of the day, who cares? We know he's
That's
a Republican. True. We know he's going to vote for Tom Tiffany. He said he's going to vote for Tom Tiffany. So it doesn't matter. It is what it is. And he's obviously not the only person because believe it or not, there are a lot of black people who vote Republican. So,
No, voting Republican is okay. I actually understand that. I just don't understand the other stuff. The freaking doubling down on Trump. That's kind of weird, ain't it?
A lot of people, black and white, who do that. And I understand that there's a lot of black people who feel a certain way towards another black person who votes for somebody like Trump, who we all have kind of labeled a white nationalist who has no inclination and no affection and nothing, nothing for black people. We agree with that. That's fine. But I mean, at the same time, there's a lot of other shit to talk about than just that same thing over and over and over. So it becomes kind of
ain't lying.
So that's why I say the more you say the man's name, it's like you're making him not just you, but people. You make somebody famous when you keep saying their name.
Yeah, I gotta stop, man. I'm addicted to it.
Nobody cares who Charleston White is except for the people who keep saying his name, and you just give him more popularity. I don't agree with him, so I don't talk about him a lot. I don't watch him. I don't support him. So you don't hear him. Most of the time, if it's somebody who I really down inside say, you know what, I don't fuck with that person. You don't hear me say their name because me saying I don't fuck with you means I really don't. That means I don't say your name. I don't talk about you. I don't think about you. I will unfriend you. I'm petty as shit. I will unfriend you.
He said I'm petty as shit.
I am. Listen. If and my wife will tell you this. I say this all the time. If you think you don't like me, I guarantee you I hate you more than you hate me.
You've said that before. Hold on. How long have you been married now?
25 years.
You lucky motherfucker. That's awesome.
You can call it luck, I guess.
Shut up. You always do that. Stop.
Yes, you can call it luck. It is what it is.
I can't stand you.
She's been with me long enough to know, say, this person like me. And she'll look at me and say, let me guess. You dislike them more. I say, you goddamn right. Because it don't take me a whole lot of time to make my mind up about it. I don't have to think about it a lot. Most of the time, if you say, did you see what so-and-so said? If it's not a person who I support, I say, no, I don't, because I don't watch their shit. I just scroll past.
You actually don't, because I be sending you shit sometimes, and you don't even respond. Like, I don't know what the fuck this nigga sending me this shit for.
It depends on what it is, but a lot of people send me stuff. And people say you don't watch.
Yeah, I know. Everybody sends you shit, but I know when I be sending you shit sometimes.
It ain't that I don't look at it. Sometimes
you be like, "What are you talking about?"
I might be in the midst of something else. Like, oh, okay, they talking about that.
Where are you now? You said as far as the next topic, where are you going with it right now?
I was about to just talk about DC being ahead in the polls and saying that it's important, but the polls have shown that they are not valid. And I talk about this all the time myself, and
Don't get it started, KB.
a lot of other black people say, ain't nobody never called me. So who are they calling? Who are they polling? Right? So
yes,
I've never put any real weight on polls, but I'm hoping, and this is my hope, that this is to show that there is some momentum for this brother that gives him a chance to go into this election and win this election. Caller, I need you to cut your background down.
The Badger poll is 4 points.
Hey, go ahead, Dave. I'm good. Hold on, bro. Let me step outside for a minute. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am well, man. I think it's still a beautiful day, 113 degrees. So you know what that means. In the house, high electricity bill, but I'm surviving.
You in Arizona?
Yeah, about here. Yeah.
No, me too. Who is this?
This is Ruben. He's in Texas.
What up, Ruben?
Hey, what's going on, man? I got you in Phoenix somewhere around there?
No, I'm in Arizona. When you said 110, that's what I looked at on my dash. I'm like, where's this brother at?
Yeah. I'm out here this week, man. What you on?
Man, whatever, man. Let me know where you at. I'm in Tucson. Where you at?
Oh, shoot. I was just talking about going to Tucson today. That's a border state. That's a border city, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I was going to move there at first, man. Yeah, I like it out through that way. Pretty nice.
Hey, anyway, send me your info, bro. We'll chop it up and we'll get together.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot you my number, bro, so we can talk.
Please do. Please do.
Yeah, I just wanted, if you don't mind, I just wanted to address this thing with Orlando and this other guy. I don't know who he was. That was really. I just want to leave them something to break down for me. They both seem like an intelligent man. Orlando, I can't take your voice away, but I was just thinking about this, and some told me to ask them to break this down. The master, who is supposedly independent, depends on the slave for the very means of existence. The slave, who is supposedly dependent upon the master, finds that he's now in control of his life in a way in which the master no longer is. So in the language of justice, it is the slave that deserves recognition. And I want them to break that down and just give me an idea of where they're at with that. I'm just throwing it out there tonight. I see we still stuck on politics, but it is what it is when it comes to that. Do what you're gonna do. If it makes you feel good to go vote for people, go do it. I said it again today that I've not spoken with one family who have had a visit from Mr. Crowley or any other candidate for that matter, and nor have they attended any funerals or any balloon releases and uttered a prayer or a word of encouragement to the community. And now they need the community in order to take their place in whatever house it is that they want to live in. But I just don't see investing my time and asking my friends and family to invest their time in it because it's just too much stuff that's just going on. You've had a chance to address and you haven't. So, and the body count is still going up and they still not speaking because their focus is trying to gain power. And not trying to heal or to try to, reach these young people out here. But that's just my thing. Everybody's entitled to what you do. Do it if it makes you feel good. But if you haven't seen any measurable changes as these people have been in your presence or in your city, then don't even waste your time with them. Mr. Orlando, you may vote Republican and that's your choice. I feel sorry for you, but that's your choice. You can do what you want to do, whoever you align yourself with, you can align yourself with them and be very happy in so doing. But as far as me and my house, we just gonna trust God and we're not gonna get involved with all that other stuff. Do what you do. And to the brother that was criticizing, don't try to take his voice away. Find your place out here and find you something to do that's going to improve the community rather than rattling off and arguing about who's doing what. Let that man live his life. You got to live with him and he got to die with him, not you. That's all I got to say, brother. Thank you, man. My wife talking to me. I got to get going.
All right, Ruben, I did want to get your take on the state of the youth because we seen that they were doing the food Let's Stay Fair. I kind of wanted to know what you thought about should be some solutions that we should look at to deal with the conditions of our young people in this community.
You know, as I watched that, that was very disheartening to me to begin with, because there are a lot of grown men out there, but everybody who calls themselves grown ain't grown, and we know that. I think that there has to be more outreach now on behalf of the larger congregations as well as the smaller congregations. There's no more handing out hot dogs and no more paying all this money into heal the hood, but we have to actually get active in the community, the church as well as community members. I think it's going to take a lot of trust building in order to achieve any objective when it comes to our youth. We have to get them to believe in us again. If you look at the young 15-year-old who was murdered, that really messed me up, because I watched the video of these grown men sitting there shooting dice with this young man and trading money and doing all this other stuff. But not a word of encouragement, how school and how you doing and what you're doing with your life, bro. You know, this is not what you should be doing. Grown people business is grown people business. I didn't hear none of that. All they ever did was come up around men who didn't give a damn about the direction of their life. And so they were feeding off of that, and they wanted to be just like that. They wanted the cars and the diamonds. So the only way that we could, get them or reach them is to reprogram them. And it's going to take us to get out in the community to do that, invading the schools, pop-ups, all this. It's going to be necessary in order to shift the tide. That's just my opinion.
All right, man. It's always a pleasure when you contribute to the show, man. I hope everything goes well for you.
All right, man. You take care now. Thanks, bro.
All right. Peace and love, my brother.
Peace and love.
All right, it's Outlaw Radio on a Monday evening. Almost done with our little thing. Just kind of moving through the chat room. This is AC says the husband of Ivanka Trump. Let me go down and see it's a bunch of other comments in here. Kerry Walker says Tasha K called the FBA the KKK. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about Tasha K in a second. Kerry Walker Jones said Candyman. A says I meant Jared Kushner, which is married to Ivanka Trump, bought 80% of the Lakers. Okay.
Jared Kushner is not involved in the purchase of the Lakers, according to Gemini. Media headlines have connected his name because of his younger brother. Josh Kushner is the venture capitalist who partnered with former Disney CEO Bob Iger. Bob Iger bought a large stake in the Lakers. So technically, to be honest, because Ace is intelligent, he's not wrong. Jared Kushner got a part in it, but he's not at the forefront. So just for everybody, whatever. Yeah.
Earl Henning says sell out real black people for the win. I'm totally with that. Ewok said to protect the sheep, you got to kill the wolf. Being a fan of a wolf, that's all I'm saying. Who's the fan of the wolf? Who's the fan?
Okay, can I just interject? Everybody, KB should let everyone fucking talk. You can't silence people. You're not supposed to. That's the real definition of freedom of speech, even as far as on this platform. And I put this out here about 6-7 hours ago. I said that Kevin actually cares about black people. He's an independent. And he puts things out there so people can see it because it's a pretty large audience at this point. You can't fucking stop Orlando from calling. Just like if he says something about me, KB, let me say shit about him. Like one of the reasons Orlando is heated right now, and I don't blame him because I was shitting on him all fucking weekend. But the only reason I did that was it stemmed from Wednesday. We go back and forth. It's okay. But at the end of the day, should he stop people from having an opinion and saying things? Absolutely not. He should not silence Orlando. No, he should let him talk so you can hear what he thinks and then you can have your opinion. So that's my 2 cents, KB. I don't understand why people be trying to like stop people from saying shit. No, just let him say what he does, just like he lets us, defend ourselves.
A says I love Ruben's answer. Ruben is always on point, man.
Ruben on point.
Man of the people. He's always working with families. He's into actually advocating for families who have suffered these losses. So that's why I always value his opinion and his input. But I think he was on point. I liked his answer too. I didn't feel like he tiptoed around it. I thought it was the correct answer. Orlando said, watch the Fox. Okay. So in terms of Tasha K, yes, Tasha K came out and compared the FBA to the Ku Klux Klan, and I think her overall
that was too much.
I think her point was that she looks at the FBA the FBA movement as something that's divisive. But then there's a boycott launched against her. She lost 30,000 followers, which I think should be the response. And I'm so happy that when it comes to the delineation movement, there are people who now are starting to identify with it and understand it is not divisive. It's not negative. It is an absolutely essential component of what we need for Black empowerment and for Black solidarity. And I'm glad that somebody who would come out and fix their mouth to say something like they are like the Ku Klux Klan, which is such an asinine, dumbass statement.
Well, hold on though. Why do you think that's such an asinine statement?
Because you got to be completely tone deaf to compare a group of Black people who are trying to self-identify to an organization that is 200 years old, that has hanged, burned, murdered, terrorized, and exploited people just simply based on their racial identity. We show no complicitness with any of that in terms of being an FBA. I know me being an FBA ain't got nothing to do with going out killing white people or burning an African continent on a shape of the African continent on their lawn.
Dude.
I believe that when people say stuff like that, it's just something that they heard someone else say.
Yes.
So be careful about regurgitating everything you hear someone say without learning, without researching and going into understanding it yourself. So maybe she should have looked up the actual history of the Ku Klux Klan. Maybe she should understand the purpose of the organization and their long history.
Hold on, KB.
If you're going to compare foundational Black Americans to the Klan, you need to go and do some more research. That's
KB. Apparently, because I think that's the thing. I had 3 different people after the show last week send me emails that did not even know who Tasha K was because I asked them. They said FBA is similar to MAGA and the Klan. Swear to God. They were all not Black people, by the way. And they sent me messages and they were like, oh, why are you guys on that? You guys are trying to separate yourself. You guys, what are you talking about? This is a lineage. What are you speaking of? People just understanding where they're from. How is that the same as a terrorist organization that hung and fucking killed people? This is what I'm saying, bro. Like, people do not research. They're not educated. And excuse my last part, huh?
And they should shut up. They shouldn't have an opinion.
No, because they don't have one. They don't even know what they're talking about, but they want to speak. So after they said that, I'm like, wow. The response I had for all 3 of them, I said, you guys, I said, and how some people say no disrespect. I said complete disrespect. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I've never heard anything dumber. And I said, and I've been following Trump for 20 years. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard as far as the FBA shit. So how do you compare that to the Klan?
Next time somebody says they're Irish, I'm going to say, oh, you trying to separate yourself from all the other white people.
Thank you, bro. Dumbass shit.
Dumbest thing. And it's only something that's meant to prevent. Once again, you want to prevent us from being on code and on the same page, because God knows what will happen if we get a little momentum and this whole solidarity thing gets some motion to it. Ain't no telling what we'd be able to do. So I can understand why powers that be would say we don't want that shit to happen, because even the great Gay Edgar Hoover said he don't want to see no Black.
Gay Edgar Hoover.
Well, him and Clyde Tolson was a little bit questionable. They was a little suspect.
Man, that's all. Dress wearing motherfucker, fuck dude too.
Ace, what it do, man?
Ace laughing. He can't even talk.
I just heard that shit, Rose.
All true facts. All facts. All facts.
Yeah, man. Matter of fact, I was just watching some shit on the Black Panthers, man, and it was crazy. But anyway, man, going back to this shit, I do believe Tasha K she has a Jamaican background, man. She's not foundationally Black herself.
Bohemian.
So you're gonna get this, like, yeah. Or what is it, Bohemian? I knew it was somewhere.
I thought I heard her say somebody along her line was they were Bohemian.
Man, fuck her dummy ass too.
It just goes to show how powerful. Dude, we've helped out the world, Ken. We've helped out the world. We've moved everybody. I mean, just with our our buying power. And we didn't realize what we were doing. The reason they're so mad is just like the Asians. It's just like the Haitians and anybody else. And it's not that we hate them. We just want to love us now. We figuring out how the economy works, and we saying, hey, man, we gonna move on it. And what that's gonna cause is a lot of other cultures who depending on our dollar to fall back. Well, hey, listen, at the same time, Kev, and I say this all the time, initially we tried to extend our community to them. What they allowed to happen was to allow the very colonizers who fucked up their country to fuck up their head when they got here, and they came over here talking on white supremacist talking points. And now we realize we are alone. We are alone. Just because you melanated don't mean you down with us, even though we still love all of them. You get what I'm saying? We ain't saying we hate them, but at the end of the day, just come over, respect us. We could have this could, like I said before, Kim, had they came over the right way and said, hey man, let's fight white supremacy together. What do you think we would be right now? What do you think we would be? Because at the end of the day, these white folks done fucked this country up, man. And they did it to the fact, and they'll never let it miss. They're such a plague that it took another plague to come in and infiltrate them and cosplay them to come in and totally fuck everything up, man. Because that's just what happened. But at the end of the day, we are going to stand alone. And this is the only way we are going to make it. Otherwise, we're going to continue to be slaves to the world. To the world. And that's what it is.
Okay, and once again, I think the important thing to look at here is all of these different cultural identities. One thing they all wanted to do was preserve their culture, and this is why they delineated. Because they actually were delineating before we were. So when you talk about somebody who's Jamaican, they want to protect their culture, they want to protect their language, their foods, their way they dress, their music. So they'll say, no, I'm Jamaican. They'll let you know that. But nobody's ever said to them, oh, no, you black, man. What you trying to make yourself better than all the other black people? It wasn't until the great descendants of the slaves came up and said, hey, you know what? We are an important part of this country. We are somebody, a force to be reckoned with, and we want our credit and we want our respect. And then all of a sudden it became a problem, right? So it's just like everybody's had their own kind of social movements for their rights and privileges until we got Black Power, until we got the black portion of the civil rights movement, and then it became bad. No, that's wrong. So the pattern is already set that anytime we as foundational Black Americans stand up for ourselves, there's going to be an issue with it. Somebody's going to have a problem with it. And in this case, the sad part is the problems mostly come from us, those who are with us and are unaware of the fact that they are with us. Now, I do understand if you are Haitian or if you're Jamaican and you're looking at all these nationalities and they're getting their TPS lifted, it's making things more difficult for them. And at the same time, you see Black Americans saying, hey, this is us over here. You may feel a certain way, but I'm telling you, tuck your tail. It's not. It's like our disclaimer on the show. The opinions expressed on Outlaw Radio are solely those of the motherfucker who said it. You know who to be mad at. So in this case, I would tell any immigrants, don't be mad at Black people. Be mad at the United States government. Be mad at the people who set the policy.
Thank you.
Because it's not us. It's not us. So you can't get mad at us after all this time for saying, hey, you know, my name is not Toby. Like, you know, you mad because I'm saying my name ain't Toby. My name is Kunta Kinte. So you want to cut my foot off. Unfortunately, you can't. So I'm glad that the foundational Black Americans have enough constituents out there so that anybody who comes out the side of their neck talking shit now about our movement loses support, loses momentum, loses followers, and in her case, loses money. Now, if you don't know who she is, she's one of the biggest internet bloggers out here. She has a very large following, and she makes a nice chunk of money doing it, but she mostly engages in celebrity gossip. But she put her foot in her mouth because she's
like
married
other people we know
to a native African. She's married to a native African. And I guess there was some criticism weighed towards him, and she felt like she needed to defend her family, which ain't nothing wrong with that, but you fucked up because you said something foul about the wrong people. And just like Roland Martin, it's hard for me to come out now and support Roland because Roland was one who spoke against the FBA movement. Same thing with Stephen A. Smith now, who was just given a thumbs down award by the National Association of Black Journalists. And now he wants to appeal and talk about all the things he's done for black people as a journalist and all the important stuff he's been involved in, Stephen. But you can't expect any props from an organization that's supposed to represent us when you've gone. They said they did it to him because he disparages black women. And I know a lot of it had to do with his criticism of Candace Owens. But in his mind, he was doing something. He was trying to put her up on game and try to lead her and help her understand of what her responsibility was. I don't think anybody understood her responsibility and how many people she represented more so than her. Bro, you talk about sports. Stick to sports. I've heard him say a million times, I don't care what the black community says. The minute you say that to me, I'm done with you. The minute you say, I don't care what the black community say, I'm not okay, well then move on. What did you say back in the hood? Speed on before you get peed on. And when I miss, I don't miss. So go ahead about your business, man. So yeah, he got the thumbs down, but that's a lot of times what you get when you get, I would say it was a nigga moment, but it was a black organization that did it to him. So instead, I just give Stephen A what it is.
On top of that, Kev, listen, dude, we owe it to our ancestors to hold it up. Because, I mean, they died, they fought, they got bit by dogs. Some of their babies got, eaten by fucking alligators. And this ain't even counting the ones that didn't make it over on the boat. We fought the civil rights thing. We fought in every fucking war. And for somebody that's only been here for one generation or so to come over there to tell us what we are and why we can't do something, and they can delineate and say they can be whatever they want to be for their country, if that's the case, once again, they can always go back to that country. Where the fuck is we going to go to? We go to Africa. They're going to let us know we are not African. Exactly. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But yet still, all these motherfuckers coming over here, and they always said they want a little something, something, something. Go over there, they want a little something, something, something. But at the same time, if we ain't adding to their damn economy, we getting deported. So, I mean, this is kind of where I get pissed off at, and I talk about this shit because at the end of the day, do you even love us, or do you love all of us, or you don't love any of us? So, because, I mean, we always help these people out. We always help these people out. And I don't care who it is in the globe. We fought for everybody. And it's time for us to fight for our damn self.
There you go.
Yeah.
As usual, Ace, I appreciate your call, man. You know how we do. Outlaws for life, baby.
Outlaws for life, baby.
Right.
All right. I'm going to go down in the comments because there's a lot of men here. Orlando said, I wouldn't know anything that the fanboy is speaking of because to Kevin's point, I don't follow nor watch people who I think are beneath me. Well, I said people who I don't like or I don't fuck with. I didn't say nothing about being beneath me.
And that's why he knew that we was clowning him all weekend. Another fraudulent claim by another house sellout. Jesus Christ.
Tasha K, this is Ace. He said Tasha K has a Jamaican background, I believe. And Kerry Walker says, yeah, her dumb ad clicked. What? Her dumb ass dick tied. Her dumb ass dick. I don't know what that word is.
Dickated.
Okay. Listening to a dumbass African, her man.
That's funny, though.
Golly.
I know it's a little different, but that's funny, though.
Up, and it's only because Trump told they dusty asses to go home. They've been trying to separate themselves from us for years. Now that they need us, we are trying to separate ourselves. I didn't even think of it as trying to separate ourselves from them. I just thought it was about us trying to do us. I don't think it's like somebody getting mad at you because you start to stand up for yourself, because you start to advocate for yourself as opposed to servicing everyone else first. And somebody get mad and say, you changed. You're trying to separate yourself from us. I'm just trying to find me. I'm just trying to do me. That's all.
People hate when they talk shit about you and then you defend yourself.
And you'll be surprised how many Haitians voted for this motherfucker. That's what I've been finding out because I would never thought that. A shit ton of Haitians voted for Donald Trump. So, I mean, at this point,
I'm not surprised.
Kerry Walker says, let them lying-ass Haitians tell it. They built this country and they won the Civil War. She said somebody told them to take their ass back to their own country and build that raggedy-ass motherfucker like we built this one and didn't run. Kerry is losing it tonight. Kerry goes in.
She's going in, dog. Like, she's snapping for real.
We already have over 40 million and she ain't got for running her soup coolers about Cardi B. She already owes 40 million. Yeah, that she ain't got. Yeah, she does owe Cardi B a lot of money because she jumped out and said some false information about I think Cardi B had an STD and she got sued.
Yeah, that shit wasn't cool. And that's the type of shit that some of these political people do. They lie about you, and I've had it happen to me. And they'll say something that's not true, and then they try to flip it. But I want everybody to pay attention because we're doing the Caricature Coon Chronicles. And I'm going to start doing animated shit. And obviously, it's all about Orlando. We're going to have some fun because he can't stop talking about me. So I can't stop talking about him. We're going to have a good time. Once he stopped talking about me, I'll keep my name, as he put it, I'll keep his name out of my mouth. But if he keeps talking, keeps calling the show, being disrespectful, I'm going to do what I do on my end because comedy writing is actually what I do. So there you go.
Well, I wanted to shift into, and my intention for this show was to dedicate a large portion of the conversation to this next topic.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to have to break it up and reserve the discussion for the next show.
Yeah.
Because we spent a lot of time spinning our wheels in place about, next to nothing.
Shit.
This is what happens. But I want to talk about Black feminism because right now there's a movement of Black feminists out there, and we talked about this before about the fact that white feminists and Black women shouldn't have never been able to, I don't know, mix in terms of the harm that it did to the Black family structure and our struggle and the relationship between Black men and Black women. But what I really would like to do is find some sisters who would be willing to come on and talk about the effects of Black feminism and feminism, period, because I know a lot of women subscribe to the feminine philosophy, and I get that a woman would want herself to be empowered. I get that women don't want to be mistreated. They don't want to be objectified. They don't want to be dominated. They want to be given equal rights to everything, from pay to everything else. I get that. But it always says to me that feminists have been women who are anti-man. And I might be wrong, right? I might be wrong. I don't know. I would have to get a woman's perspective. And to me, this is relevant because I see and hear so many women on the internet doing and engaging in what I consider to be man bashing, sending an overwhelming message. I don't need no man. I don't need no man. I don't want no man. Women get asked about marriage. I don't need no husband. I don't want no husband. I don't, even to the point where you got women going in on other women for having children. I ain't defined whether or not I got kids. I don't need no kids. I don't want no kids. Now, you got the right to do whatever you want to do. But we talk about a traditional path towards families. And I don't know if people understand families build communities. Families are the necessary building block of the community. And if the man and the woman can't connect, and I think the fallout of a lot of this is, and I'm going to say this, and it might be controversial. I think one of the issues with our kids right now is the fact that they're being raised by a lot of moms. And I'm not one of these brothers who blames any of our problems on single mothers. But I think there are a lot of mothers out there who have said, I don't want or need a man. I'm going to do this alone for whatever reason. Sometimes it's justified, sometimes it's not. And you find out that it's hard to do that. It's hard to raise a child by yourself, whether you're a man doing it or a woman doing it, and especially with young men, because what you end up with is a lot of young men with feminine traits. And so we got some Black male feminists out here, okay? And so I wanted to talk about that, but I would really like for the sisters, because a lot of sisters tune in to Outlaw Radio, and I appreciate y'all, but I would really like to know what y'all think about this. So this is going to be probably where we start at Wednesday, talking about Black feminists and Black feminism. And why is it that we see this overwhelming attitude amongst women nowadays, that especially Black women, that they don't want us around. They don't want us. I don't want no man. I don't need no man. It leads to a whole bunch of different stuff, y'all. To me, it does. And I'm not always right. I don't know everything. I'm like Andre 3000 said, peninsula maybe, but I'm no island, right? There's some stuff I'm pretty well informed on. Some stuff I'm not. And one of them being what it's like to be a woman. I'm not a woman. I don't have any feminine sensibilities, but I do hear a lot of man bashing on the internet. I see it.
Yeah.
Social media, there's this whole attitude that, I mean, if you think about it, the portrayal of us now that I feel like a lot of women want to get across is men are weak. We're weak. We're the weaker vessel.
Yeah.
Like, weak. They soft. They stupid.
And that's not the case at all.
I mean, but once again, solutions is what we're after here. So we're going to have that conversation on Wednesday, man. We'll talk about Black feminism and what y'all think about it. Because I want to be able to take calls, and I want women to be able to chime in and give me some realistic. Because I know there are a lot of women who've had negative experiences with men, and I know that a lot of them get frustrated with the way men sometimes approach them or objectify them. And I will admit, as a man, yes, a lot of times what you see is what you get in our
We've
eyes.
all done it too.
So I just wanted to get some input from the females or from the women, I should say, about in 2026 as a black woman, where do we sit in terms of black feminism? And I probably want to take some more time during the next couple of days to look into some of the principles of feminism and look up some of what the great white feminists who kind of came up with this movement, what their perspective was. So we'll talk about that on Wednesday. Y'all, I just want y'all to know, everybody who has something to say, you can come to Outlaw Radio and say it. Just respect the platform. Orlando says, sounds like some weak, emotional, unintelligent energy that fanboy only has. Grow up.
And he's actually talking about himself, the projection. I completely understand. Sometimes, and it's got to be hard though, KB, when you're emotional and you want to kind of get your point across, and when people don't agree with you. And he actually mentioned me and like 5 other people. It's just odd that he's the only one saying the things that he's saying. So all we can do for Orlando is we can kind of like see the cries for help, and we can just pray for him. It's okay.
And in terms of my topic about black feminism, the one thing I want to do is establish some guidelines and some parameters, because if we are delineating, if we're to empower ourselves, if we're looking for black solidarity, we need to start giving some clear definition to some roles. And within our family structure, there's some roles. Some have been forgotten, some have been ignored, and there's been some that have been put in there that shouldn't be there. So I want to build where we should build and tear down where we should tear down. As they said, we want to put some paint where it ain't. In the meantime and in between time, y'all, please share the show. Let everybody know Outlaw Radio is popping. Let everybody know that you enjoy the show, that you are, we call them the 3 E's: entertained, enlightened, or empowered. We hope that you got one of those 3 things from it. Appreciate everybody who calls in. Appreciate all the people who chime in the chat room. And I like I say, a lot of times when I don't feel like dragging this, I do it because I know there's people out there who appreciate the platform and want to hear the messages. So Tuesday, man, peace and love. Ian, you got some people you want to shout out or something you want to say before we bounce out tonight?
Yeah, I really want to shout out everybody that pays attention to the show, because I've said this before and I'll say it again. No BS. What Kevin created, and I guess I'm a fanboy because I give respect to intelligent people. Like I said, my background, my mom was in political science. She was a political science major. My father was a Panther. But when you have a person that literally created a platform for us to have a voice, you got to support it. So everybody, it doesn't take anything. Like, share, and subscribe to the program and subscribe to the show. That's it, man. I love everyone. Even Orlando's fucking dumbass. Love him too. But everybody, tune into the show. Wednesday is going to be good. And the black feminism shit, Kevin, I'm going to have some shit. I'm actually going to research some of it after we get off. Yeah, I got some opinions on that shit too, bro. I can't lie. I do.
Ain't going to waste no time on Wednesday. We're going to be efficient. We're going to get that out the way amongst other things and keep our pulse on what's going on with Black America. I just want everybody to remember, if your criticism of the black community outweighs your contribution to it, you're probably a coon, and you damn sure need to tune in to Outlaw Radio as much as possible, man. Peace and love. I'll see y'all Wednesday.
Amen. God bless. Love all y'all.